Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about Creed Humphrey, who is the center at the University of Oklahoma and a very phenomenal NFL draft prospect. It's the man himself, a man who brings us this information in spades, a man who has started his career and said, I am going to take every bit of information I've got. I'm going to tell it to all the people. And if you know who I am, it's because of football knowledge. It's himself, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Jeremiah, first off, love the introduction. You always bring the heat on Mondays with these videos, brother. I love it. But yeah, what's up, everybody? I am back, ready to do these draft profiles as always. It's always a fun idea to come on here and talk about all these guys. We've done a lot of draft profiles over the last year, Jeremiah. We've went everywhere from cornerbacks to offensive linemen, defensive linemen. We've even probably talked about the water boy somewhere along the line. But we've talked about anyone and everyone on this show, and I'm ready to talk about Creed Humphrey, who is very impressive. Let me just say, first off, he's a very impressive center, and I'm ready to drop my knowledge on these people about this guy. I'm ready for it.
Well, I'm sure all of the fans of the University of Oklahoma are ready to listen. I'm sure all of people trying to get their draft profiles set up so that they can understand who's going to get drafted and who's going to help them out. And I'm sure everybody who wants a little edge when they're trying to decide who's going to win the teams, the various sports competitions that will be coming up in the next season, I'm sure they're all chomping at the bit to hear more about Creed Humphrey. So without further ado, Mr. Landers, take it away.
Yeah, so Creed Humphrey, young man, a center, out of the University of Oklahoma, go Sooners. Man, he's a big kid, Jeremiah. He's a big guy, 6'5". He's around he's good too, 320, 6'5", 320. He's looking good already. He don't got to worry about any more height, any more weight going into the NFL. He's got it already, let me just say. This guy's very impressive. Man, yeah, really his whole career. He's been defined as one of the better centers in college football. And now that the draft's coming up in just about 2 months, I believe, he's really starting to get some more shine on him and get some more people looking at him about, man, this guy might be one of the top 5 centers in this upcoming draft. And, man, I'm going to get to it in a little bit going into his past season he just had. But I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of his career at the University of Oklahoma. So he redshirted in 2017. He sat on the bench, got to learn the system, got to know about all the players, the coaches, all the plays, all that good stuff. Man, after that, that's when he really learned. He soaked up all that knowledge, and he did it on the field where it matters most. Second team All-Big 12 in his first season in 2018. He was a freshman All-American as well, All-Academic Big 12 as well, which is also important. Got to have your grades right in college, and he was up there. His finance was his major. So you don't got to worry about any spending issues with him. He's got that under lock and key. So 2018, really solid start to his career, honestly. Played in all 14 games at center, and he started in 12 of them. So overall, really good offensive showing for his first season for the Sooners. But, man, his 2019 season, that's where it really started amping up. And like, man, okay, this guy might have something special on his, he might have something special for him. So 2019, once again, he's second team All-American, but he was also one of 3 finalists for the Remington Award, which is an award that's going to the best center in college football. So he was up there as a finalist. So that just tells you that this guy has some talent. He's also a Big 12 co-offensive lineman of the year as voted on by the coaches. First team All-Big 12 as well. Also on the academic Big 12, second team as well. Started all 14 games at center once again. And, man, he also did not allow a sack. And get this, Jeremiah, almost 800 plays. He did not allow a single sack. So that lets you know this guy's got a lot of heart, first off. A lot of heart, hustle, tenacity, all those adjectives I like to throw out there. Most importantly, he's got strength. He's got the muscles. He's got the legs. He's doing everything to block those guys. And I think, about 800 snaps, that'll pretty much get you up there as one of the better. That'll get you up there for that award. Surprised he didn't win it, but hey, it's always great to be a finalist as well. That's what gets you names and recognition. So in 2020, this past season, as we all know, the COVID season, if we like to say, the shortened season, shortened games, all Big 12 schedule for Oklahoma. Man, he also was very impressive as well. Third team AP All-American once again. named the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. First team All Big 12 pick by both his head coaches and the media. And also, once again, he racked up another All Big 12 academic team. Also, started all 11 games that they played this season at the center position. And yes, once again, he did not allow a sack in around, I think it looks around 400 snaps. So, in his last 2 seasons, Jeremiah, in around 1,000 snaps, 0 sacks, 0. So if that doesn't automatically shoot you up there as one of the nation's best centers, I don't know what does, honestly. I really don't know. Because 1,000 snaps and no sacks?
Yeah.
I don't know what they put in the water at Oklahoma, but whatever it is, this guy's been drinking a lot of it.
He's a beast.
But he really is, honestly. And it's impressive to go that long without giving up a sack. I know the quarterbacks there were loving this guy, both giving him the ball as well as protecting him. What more can you say about this guy? He's got great strength, obviously. He's got good footwork. He's got good hands. He knows how to block first and foremost, especially in the passing game. That's where he's going to excel. The running game, I'm sure you can always improve on those even more in the NFL. But I do think that Creed Humphrey is one of the best centers in this draft. Honestly, he is top 5 for sure. I don't see how you can't put him in your top 5 after the 1,000 snaps and no sacks thing. The stat I just threw out there. But I do like his style of play. He played in a very good conference in the Big 12. He didn't play for a smaller school. He didn't go to a team that you never heard of. He's played for Oklahoma, which is a storied franchise, storied school for college football, and he's played against some good opponents throughout his tenure there as a student as well as a student athlete. So I do like Creed Humphrey. I think he's very solid. And I always like to throw out my 3 picks, Jeremiah, about where this young man might end up. I always like to go. I'm always going to go back when the draft happens, see if I was almost on point or if I just missed by a lot. And that's just the fun and the beauty of doing all these things, doing all the draft profiles that we do. We just like to have. It's a good, fun guessing game with some good research involved as well. That's what we always like to do here. So the 3 teams that I've been looking around, I think could draft Creed Humphrey come draft day for the NFL draft. My first team, I've got the Los Angeles Rams. My second team, the Baltimore Ravens. And my third and final team is the Miami Dolphins. Now, there is a connection between those 3 teams. They all have a really good quarterback.
Yes.
Correct. With the Rams, we all know they just got Matthew Stafford from the Lions and that big trade with Jared Goff a couple of weeks ago. Baltimore Ravens, they got one of the more electric quarterbacks with Lamar Jackson. And the third team is the Miami Dolphins, who just drafted a season ago Tua Tagovailoa, who people are thinking might be the next big thing in the NFL if he can stay healthy and if he can have a good offensive line. So I do think that if Creed Humphrey is able to slide in with either of those 3 teams and protect their star quarterback for the future, whether it be Matt Stafford or Lamar Jackson or Tua Tagovailoa, I think that he would be a great fit for either of those teams. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how Creed Humphrey does in the NFL because, man, his college career was absolutely stellar. Whoever drafts this guy is going to be getting a smart guy first off with the all academic knowledge, all academic picks as well. So he's already got a good head on his shoulders, good brain up in his noodle up there. But also they're getting a stud on the field as well, man, with just his pure athleticism, power, strength, everything you want to talk about. This guy's got it, and I do think he is one of the nation's best centers, and it's going to show on draft day. I hope. I think he's going to be picked early, and whoever gets him is going to get a heck of a ball player.
Yeah. Okay, so this man is a wall, and anybody in the NFL who decides to bring in Creed Humphrey is going to recognize. All right, so we've got that wall right in front of our quarterback now. We just got to worry about our left and our right sides at this point because this man clearly is going to stop everything coming at him. He is a powerhouse. He is a brick, and I think that's going to really benefit him well. I think that he has designed his career well to do extremely well in the NFL, to have a pretty storied career for a center, I would guess, if he continues those same kind of stats coming into the NFL. Definitely. Could you imagine what kind of response that the media would have to a center who keeps his quarterback untackled of any type, no sacks for, let's say that he does it for a couple seasons. That starts to become an incredible record that, he starts to, really get into the record books. So for everybody watching, we're talking about Creed Humphrey. He's the center from the University of Oklahoma. If you're an Oklahoma fan, please let us know what else you know about Creed Humphrey in the comments. We'd love to hear anything else about this great draft prospect and to see what else we might not know. And if you're just a really big sports fan and you love the University of Oklahoma, or you just love the center position, or you've been following Creed Humphrey on his journey, tell us what you think in the comments. And if you're watching us right now on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, then please join us over at our podcast, which is 100 Yards of Football. It's easily available on any of the podcast platforms that you love, including Spotify, including Apple. We're on everything. Here's our Spotify, and here's what our Apple podcast looks like. Really, you just have to go to any podcast that you like and search 100 Yards of Football. And that also includes your Alexa devices, your Google Home devices, or any of your voice-activated devices. Just say, hey, please play 100 Yards of Football podcast. And it'll do that for you immediately. And you'll hear Mr. Landers giving his draft profiles. You'll hear the founder of our show, Vincent Turner, as he gives some of the most in-depth sports history knowledge I've ever heard. We've got first-round draft pick, two-time All-American Bobby Butler out of Florida State, who played 12 years in the National Football League with the Atlanta Falcons. And we've also got Coach Kevin the Bull Jones, who is an amazing Georgia Prep coach. And occasionally we start bringing on some of our expanded lineup into 100 Yards of Sports, and we talk about some other sports, including basketball, football, or basketball, baseball, UFC, and potentially some other sports that are just getting some knowledge out there for it. But for the entire team, I am Jeremiah Long, and this is Logan Landers, and we've been talking about Creed Humphrey, the center for the University of Oklahoma. Make sure you drop in the comments if you'd like to see anything else from us, and for the whole team, we'll see you a little later.